Welcome to the Eye Anatomy and Vision Defects course. This course is based on the virtual reality scenarios created in the Erasmus Plus project, Virtual Reality for Learning. My name is Mihaela and I invite you to visit University of Craiova with the help of virtual reality and later explore an in-depth course on the proposed topic. What you can see now is our laboratory of optometry. In the first part of this room are located the main equipment that are used by our student. You can see here an autokeratorefractometer. Here are two lens meter, a biomicroscope. On this table are training eyes. We can simulate vision defects, and our students with some lenses can correct them. Two optotips are positioned on this wall. In this side of the room are lenses from different manufacturers. It's normal for our students to know all types of lenses that are on the market. We have lenses for checking the results given by autokeratorefractometer. Also, we have a synoptophore, an equipment used for strabism correction. It's only a screen on this wall. And we are back in front of the room. As you can see, virtual reality create a very realistic image about this room. I will stop share this virtual scenario, and we will start to discuss about the topic that I proposed. Just a second. In the first part of our course, we will discuss about the main parts of the eye anatomy, and in the end about vision defects and how they can be corrected. When we discuss about eye anatomy, I should say that the eye is a component of the peripheral visual sense, is the location of the photoreceptor cells responsible for converting light energy from the visible spectrum, where the wavelength radiation is between 400 and 760 nanometers into nerve impulses transmitted to the brain. The eye is a converging center optical system with several spherical diopters. The successive transparent media of the eye are cornea, aqueous humor, the lens of the eye, crystalline lens, which is in a capsule, vitreous humor. There are three refractions. The first one is at the air corneal interface. The second refraction is at the anterior face of the lens, and the third refraction is at the posterior face of the lens. If we discuss about conjunctiva, is the membrane covering the sclera, the white portion of our eye. The conjunctiva also covers the interior of your eyelids. By generating mucus and tears, the conjunctiva helps lubricate the eyes. It also aids in immunological monitoring and prevents microorganisms from entering the eye. Second part of the eye is represented by sclera. Is known also as the whites of the eye, covering more than 80% of the eyeball surface. Sclera has a smooth and white exterior, but is brown on the inside. It has grooves that help properly attach the eye tendons to provide stability and protection while staying flexible. This allows the eye to move as needed to see different objects. The episclera is a thin layer of tissue on top of the sclera with tiny blood vessels providing nutrients. Iris is the colored part of the eye and is unique to each person. This structure is located in the front of the eye between the cornea on the outside and the lens on the inside. The iris primarily regulates how much light reaches the retina by controlling the size of the eyes window or pupil. As a result, it exhibits what is known as a pupillary light reflex, in which it narrows in bright light while opening up in low light. The iris also performs what is known as the accommodation reflex. This is the eye's instinctive ability to shift focus from nearby to distant objects. This action requires adjusting the pupil's aperture opening, the shape of the lens, and convergence, the ability of the eyes to work together. Pupil is a black dot in the center of the iris. It's a hole that allows the eye to focus on the things in front of it. Pupils open and close to regulate the amount of light that enters the eye. When light enters the eye through the lens, it focuses light rays through the pupils and into retina. The difference between the centers of your pupils is called your pupillary distance. And when it's dark, the pupils dilate or expand wider to let in more light. This increases the scope of our view. Our pupils contract to a small diameter in bright light to protect our retina's delicate photoreceptor. Cornea is the clear and protective outer layer of our eye, along with the sclera. Cornea is a barrier against dirt, infectious microorganisms, and other substances that can damage the eye. Aside from protection, the cornea also plays a significant role in vision. Its dome-shaped surface bends light as it passes through the eyes, allowing it to focus on objects effectively. The cornea can also filter out the sun's harmful ultraviolet light, preventing ultraviolet light from reaching other structures inside the eye. However, to prevent damage to the cornea and other parts of the eye, everyone should wear sunglasses. The next part of the eye is uvea. It's the eye middle layer located underneath the white part of the eye. Uvea is composed of three parts, iris, ciliary body, and choroid. And these structures control some eye functions, such as adapting to varying levels of light or object distances. Choroid is a vascular layer between your eye's sclera and retina. It delivers nourishment through blood and oxygen supply to the retina's outer layers. It keeps the retina functioning effectively. It also reflects light, which causes the red eye effect in photos. A retina is a light-sensitive layer that covers your eye's rear surface. Images are transmitted to the retina when your eye picks up the images. It converts images into impulses that are sent to your brain through the optic nerve, enabling you to see and interpret what you see. Eye muscles. The eye has 6 muscles. These muscles arise from the eye socket and work to move the eye up and down, side to side, or in a circular motion. These 6 eye muscles are as follows. Superior rectus attaches to the top of the eye and moves the eye upwards. Inferior rectus attaches to the bottom of the eye and allows downward eye movement. Medial rectus attaches to the side of the eye adjacent to the nose and helps the eyes to shift inwards towards the nose. Lateral rectus attaches to the outer side of the eyes and moves the eyes towards the temples. Superior oblique originates from the back of the eye socket and attaches to the top of the eye. It rotates the eye inwards, front to back, and downwards. And the sixth muscle, inferior oblique, arises from the front of the socket near the nose and travels inwards, attaching to the bottom surface of the eyeball. It rotates the eye outwards, front to back, and upwards. Macula lutea. Light rays are focused on the macula lutea when an eye looks directly at an object. The macula lutea is a yellow oval area in the retina's center. The center of the macula is known as the fovea. The section of retina is in charge of sharp, detailed central vision, also called visual acuity. The macula lutea has a high concentration of cones. These are the light-sensitive retinal cells that provide high visual acuity. Lens of the eye or crystalline lens is a transparent lens shaped structure inside your eye. It's a natural lens located behind the iris and to the front of the vitreous humor. The vitreous humor is a clear, colorless, gelatinous mass that fills the gap between the lens and the retina in the eye. The lens is held in place by a fibrous membrane known as the zonule of Zinn or the lens suspensory ligaments. The lens changes its thickness and curvature, allowing the eye to focus on objects from varying distances. Aqueous humor is a fluid substance that fills the eye. It's divided into chambers. The anterior chamber is in front of the iris, whereas the posterior chamber is right behind it. These layers enable the eye to keep its shape. This liquid is evacuated via the Schlemm canal to eliminate any accumulation in the eye. Ciliary body is a ring-shaped tissue found behind the iris. It attaches to the lens through the zonular fibers. The ciliary body holds and regulates the eye lens movement, keeping the lens shape intact. This structure is also involved in the production of aqueous humor. Let's discuss now about optic nerve. Is a bundle of about 1.2 million nerve fibers that transmit visual information to the central nervous system, to the brain. There is one nerve per eye connecting each eye to the brain. Vision loss may occur if any of the nerves are damaged. However, the consequences of optic nerve damage depend on the extent of the damage. Optic disc is where the axons of retinal ganglion cells join together and mark the beginning of the optic nerve. The optic disc also serves as the entrance site for major blood vessels and that nourish the retina. In the average person, the optic disc carries about 1.2 million nerve fibers from the retina to the brain. Fovea centralis is a tiny depression in the retina that houses cones that help with proper vision. It's located within the macula. Approximately 80–90% of the optic nerve fibers convey visual information from the fovea, while the other portion conveys information from the peripheral retina. How does the light travel to the eye? So the light travel through all these optic environments, and finally the image is obtained here in the focal point. Vision defects of the human eye are mainly three. Myopia or near sightedness, hypermetropia or far sightedness, and presbyopia. Myopia affects a person's ability to see distant objects clearly. Those with myopia can see close objects clearly. It occurs when the focal points falls before the retina instead of on it. This can happen for two reasons. The first is the high converging power of the eye's lens. In this situation, the ciliary muscles are not relaxed enough, which causes the lens to thin out and the converging power to decrease. This causes blurry images of distant objects. The other factor is an irregularly long eyeball shape, causing the focal points to be in front of the retina instead of on it. This results in a higher distance between the retina and the eye lens, meaning the eye cannot see distant objects clearly. They appear blurry because the image is out of focus due to long distance between the retina and the focal point. How can be corrected retina? Correcting myopia involves adjusting the distance of the distant objects so it appears closer to the far point of the eye, allowing the eye to see the object clearly. This can be achieved by utilizing a concave lens in front of the eye in the form of glasses or contact lenses. This involves the divergence of the light rays from the distant objects, so they appear to come from the eye's far point, which helps to increase the focal length. This is the distance between the center of the curved lens and the focal point. The concave lens decreases the converging power of the eye lens, forming the image of the object on the retina. The image is created on the retina when the concave lenses are used compared to in front of the retina if the myopic eye is untreated. The next vision defect is represented by hypermetropia. It affects the ability to see nearby objects while still being able to see distant objects clearly. The distant objects that can be seen are usually positioned more than 25 centimeters away from the eye. Hypermetropia can have two reasons. Low converging power. The ciliary muscles are weakened and cannot thicken the eye lens when needed to increase its converging power. Hence, the image of close objects is formed behind the retina instead of on the retina. The second reason is the shape of the eyeball. When it's short, the retina is closer to the eye lens, causing the image of near objects to form behind the retina. Hypermetropia correction. By using convex lenses in front of the eye, the light rays from near objects converge through the lens, forming an image of the objects close to the near point end of the eye. Depending on the power of the lens used, the converging power will be increased accordingly. When utilizing convex lenses, the image is created on the retina instead of behind the retina. N is the notation for the normal near point of the eye, which is 25 centimeters, while N prime is the near point of a hypermetropic eye, which is more than 25 centimeters. Next vision defect is represented by astigmatism. Astigmatism is a common defect of vision caused by an uneven or asymmetric retina or focus of the eye or an irregular shape of the cornea of the eye. This causes some images to be sharper than others, as the rays that reflect from the object approach different points in the irregular or uneven eye. Astigmatism correction can be made partially with cylindrical spectacles that oppose the irregularity of the eye. This means that if the refractive error of the eye is plus 1.5, the correction of the refractive error is minus 1.5. However, as the spectacles are fixed and the eyes move, the distance is always varying, so that the vision is not totally corrected at all times. This problem is eliminated by using contact lenses that are fixed on the eye. They provide a total correction as they cover a large portion of the irregular cornea. Another option is laser correction, which uses laser technology to reshape an irregular cornea. This can also be used for other defects besides astigmatism. Presbyopia happens gradually as we age. Is caused mainly in older people due to weakened ciliary muscles of the eye. The muscles lose their flexibility and those cannot focus properly on near objects. This defect can happen in conjunction with myopia, astigmatism, or hypermetropia. It affects the ability to see nearby objects. Presbyopia can sometimes appear in conjunction with myopia or hypermetropia, which would then require bifocal lenses that use concave or convex lenses at the top and the bottom of the spectacles respectively. Thank you very much and goodbye.